Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Feminine Friday. We are here back, better than ever. As always, we're getting better each and every day, each and every video. And today, we're going to be turning it up just a notch. So we're going to get into a nice, juicy, spicy topic regarding high standards, self-betrayal, and a little bit of my opinion on all the chaos and nonsense, I would say, in social media surrounding love and relationships. But before we get into today's topic, please do remember to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button if you're getting value out of these videos. Please do also comment down below if there is a specific topic that you want me to talk about, especially on Feminine Friday surrounding love, relationships, and anything regarding femininity. But without further ado, let's get into today's topic. Now, today's topic, like I said, we're going to be turning up the heat a little bit. And before I get into this, I just want to preface this conversation. This is my opinion. If you don't like my opinion, then you know what? Just go about your merry way. But I just wanted to offer a fresh new perspective that's lighthearted, not so harsh, and a say-all, be-all. Like you see a lot on social media. It's either, is this right? Is this wrong? This is wrong. This is right. It's a lot of just chaos and negativity, unfortunately, surrounding something that's supposed to be so beautiful. So let's start with high standards. Let's start there. I think it's important to start with high standards because I think a lot of people view standards a little bit differently. And I think that there's levels, or let me not say levels. I think there's a certain amount of priority. I think you should categorize like your top 3 to top 5 standards. And what I mean by that, okay, what's your number one priority? Is it material? Is it physical? Is it emotional? So on and so forth. And then you should categorize them based off of what's most important to you. And I'm going to share with you guys today what I think the number one thing that people should consider today when it comes to setting their high standards. So before I get into that, I just want to say a lot of people make physical attraction, make materialistic things their number one priority when it comes to standards in relationships. And although those are important things to consider, I do not think that they're the number one thing that you should prioritize when entering a relationship. Yes, the basis of this, and I don't think that this is just a standard, I think that there's a baseline before you even get into a relationship is, am I attracted to this person? That is important because you don't want to set yourself up for failure if someone doesn't even get your gears going. Yeah, you may learn to love them in time, and this is more of a modern perspective, right? There's a lot of people that follow traditional perspectives, but even some friends that I have that follow traditional perspectives, even they have a choice of, especially nowadays, whether you have an arranged marriage or something around those lines where they meet the person and it's like a yay or nay. Hey, like maybe not. You know what I'm trying to say? Like whether their parents are arranging it or whether they find some kind of arrangement online, there's still a point of entry of, hey, I can move forward with this person and get to know this person and see what this person is about because there's an attraction there. And bottom line, don't set yourself up for failure just because you've probably heard, oh, this person has a lot of money, or this person comes from a good family background, has a lot of connections and can get you into the door in certain things. Don't set yourself up for failure with things that are not going to be sustainable long term. Attraction is important. And that shouldn't be a standard, that should just be a baseline. And I want to make that very clear. Now, getting into the number one standard that I think people should have when pursuing relationships or when you're in a relationship or getting to know someone. You shouldn't go based off of what someone is offering materially or how much they make or what kind of education they have. Merits are important, yes. But what's more important than merits are their virtues. And when I say virtues, I'm talking about character-based virtues. Are they honest? Do they have integrity? Do they align with your values? Are they capable of caring for you? Do they even care for people? Do they have respect? Are they respectful? Are they respectable? Those characteristics are far more sustainable and far more important than you can imagine. Because You want to know who you're going to be in a relationship with, let alone who you're going to marry. I'm assuming that is the goal, at least for most of us. It's really important to take the time to get to know someone that you're attracted to and want to pursue a relationship with. Or even when you're in a relationship before you enter marriage, to understand this person's personality traits. You want to deal with someone who's genuinely happy all by themselves, who isn't unpleasant, who understands how to deal with conflict, who can be calm, collective, or even if they're not calm and collective, can own up to the mistakes that they make, that have your best interests at heart overall, to make sure that you guys align and are compatible. We're going to have different things that we like, but overall, the actual virtues that I'm speaking of are the more in-depth than just what you like, what your hobbies are. They are about who you stand as a person alone, who you present yourself to be, and who is the person that you're going to live with. Those are things to consider, because you don't want to spend the rest of your life miserable all for the sake of pursuing something that's materialistic and that can go away tomorrow. But having those characteristics, having those virtues, having someone to laugh with, having someone to share moments with, having someone to overall just have a pleasant time with and create memorable moments is, I believe, the foundation of a relationship. And segueing that into understanding when not to betray yourself is being mindful when you're putting all your standards together. I would recommend people go for virtues, personality, and then merits. I think those are the top 3 things that people should consider overall before deciding to get in a relationship or before deciding to marry someone. Because those things are important. If you want to add into personality trait, I think that kind of like goes hand in hand. But in either way, when considering all those 3 things, you don't want to sabotage yourself by over-focusing on one standard and then deprioritizing another. I think all these things, even though they're 1, 2, 3, hold their own value in their respective rights. I think it's important, very important for you to understand the virtues of someone, for you to understand the characteristics and personality traits and habits of someone. And it's also important for you to consider their merits, because those 2 things, those 2 foundations, the virtues and the characteristics, are what drove this person to have the merits that they do. And sometimes people obtain their merits not with the best personality traits. Sometimes people scheme, sometimes people lie to come up. And you have to be mindful. The way you do one thing in your life translates into other things in your life. So if this person obtained their education or obtained their wealth by scheming and scamming and lying, what makes you think that because you're in their life now that things are going to be different? Obviously people can change, but if there's no evidence that this person is trying to change, why would you fool yourself? Or if you rush into something because, oh, this person's wealthy, he can do this and she can do that, and they can offer me this lifestyle, or they can add this to my life, and then you never consider those first 2 things, and you're just more focused on the merits that this person has, or the materialistic things that this person has, or the physical things that this person has to offer, it's gonna be a tough one. And I want you guys to have the best overall relationship. Yes, I want you guys to feel abundant in your relationship, whether if it's through wealth, whether if it's through education, whether if it's through freedom of time. Overall, yes, I would love those things in your life, and I want you to have them, and you are worth having all of them. Period to that. I do also want you to have someone who you're genuinely connected with, who you genuinely love, that makes you feel good, that adds a certain peace and happiness to your life. Don't betray yourself by dealing with someone who may have a lot of money, for example, but is ultra disrespectful and schemes and lies for their own gain. Don't do that to yourself. Do not do that to yourself. Or whether you're with someone who's physically attractive and they look good, but they treat you like you mean nothing, or like they're above you. Don't do that to yourself. Don't make yourself miserable just for the sake of having something that you think is what's going to give you happiness. Happiness is overall. Am I saying that relationships are going to be all rainbows and sunshines? I am not saying that. But what I'm saying is you're giving yourself the best chance by, yes, finding someone that you like, finding someone that you find attractive, and taking into consideration their merits, maybe how much money they make, and, how much education they have if that's important to you, or the family background that they have that's important to you. But don't let that be your deciding factor as to why you move forward with someone, because they could have all those things and be the most unpleasant person on earth. And then it comes down to none of that's worth it. And then you end up setting yourself up for failure and success. And then you wonder what went wrong when you're sitting at the divorce table. And a lot of people that I talk about that have been through divorces or breakups realize, I should have never let that slide in the beginning. I should have brought it to their attention. I should have been more mindful. I should have been less hasty. And I shouldn't have let the pressures of social media get to me. And segueing into my last point of all the crazy chaos with social media, I don't even know where to start. And you know what? We're not going to get into everything during this video. But I do think that social media has a lot of things wrong when it comes to relationships. But obviously, they're there to get views. They're there for clickbait. They're not necessarily always there to share values. Or sometimes people are just expressing things that hurt them. They're bleeding on other people instead of genuinely wanting to navigate and direct people into a path of sincere happiness. And I'm not saying that I have the answers for everything. I'm just saying, ideally, what things should be like. I don't think that it should be man versus women, women versus man, who brings what to the table and all this other stuff. I think that is beyond toxic, if I'm being very honest. I think that you should be honest with yourself about first what you want, what you're willing to tolerate, and what you provide as well. I think those are things that you should definitely consider. And I don't think that you should delude yourself into, one, blocking a blessing that you can have, but also two, setting an expectation for someone that you can't even meet yourself. I think having a balance is important. I think that's what's missing from social media. Not so much clickbait noise about men are better than women, women are better than men. We all need each other at the end of the day. We all need love. We all want love. We all want a prosperous relationship. And let's just be honest, a lot of the things that we do on our daily lives and a lot of our goals are what's leading us to that. So I'm going to end here. And maybe in our next video on next Feminine Friday, I'll get into all the things that I think social media has wrong and offer a new, lighter, more calmer, and sustainable, genuinely good perspective that's going to set you up the best for a successful, healthy, happy relationship. That's all I have for today, so I'm gonna pause it there. I know we got into a little bit of everything, but if there's something more that you want me to elaborate on, if there's something that you agree with or even disagree with, do drop a comment below. I would love to hear your perspective, and I will respond to them in my next video when I'm talking about what social media has right and wrong. Don't be shy. If you feel like men are the prize, or you feel like women are the prize, drop it below. We're going to be talking about it next week. So do join us and stay tuned for that episode. Now, our next episode will actually be on Sundays. Remember, we post content Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It's Friday today. Our next video will come up on Sunday. We post faith-based content to give you a little bit of a pick-me-up and boost to start your week. So I look forward to seeing you guys then. That's all I have for today. So bye.